Welcome to Lashback, everybody, bringing the back forward. I'm Natalyan,
And I'm Phoebe.
and we're going to be talking about the wonderful world of acronyms today.
Now,
So, kicking it off, Phoebe, what's your thoughts on acronyms and why we should talk about this?
well, what is an acronym, firstly? Using the first letter of a sentence. So, NASA. What does NASA stand for? Or
It
like
does.
BBC, British
Yeah.
Broadcasting Corporation. Okay, so it's like a brand or whatever. Um, so that's cool. That's like saves the time on the typing. But now you get like TTFN and it's code, isn't it? It's just code. I don't understand
Yeah.
most of what the
Or
young people are
laziness.
saying. Laziness. I've got my
Yeah.
glasses on. I don't want that. Go on, say more. Why
Yeah,
lazy?
so my I think you know this about me. My acronym hate has got stronger and stronger the older I'm getting because acronyms used to have a place for me and it's a real bugbear of mine. So this is potentially a bit of a ranting episode, but I'd be interested to know what our followers as they come along think about this because I spend probably multiple times a week Googling acronyms from social media because people tend to turn 5 words in a sentence that they've created and just made their own acronym up. Acronyms used to exist because they were, you know, defined as an acronym. Like NASA had a purpose of being an acronym, BBC has a purpose of being an acronym, but saying that 5 letters is in a sentence I'm meant to suddenly understand that I think is just
TTFN, ta-ta
crazy.
for now.
Yeah, yeah.
Funny, I
What
think
does
I
that
think
mean?
some of this came from. I've got a mate who, right when the internet was new, got really into all those chat rooms. Pre any kind of social media, loved a
Yeah,
chat room, and she's probably my first insight into using, abbreviations. Really, is what we're talking about here, isn't it? Like BRB, be right back, because somebody
yeah,
can't see
yeah.
you, so somebody's
I
written
understand that one.
BRB. Yeah, I had to look it up
Mm.
though. First time I ever saw it. In fact, the first time I ever see any of them, I have to look it up. And I'm like, who invented this stuff? Because actually, I can Google and the answer is there. But who put that?
Instantly.
Like,
Yeah,
am
yeah.
I that late to the party? I mean, why
I
where
feel
was my
that.
memo? They
Yeah,
should they
I'm
should put
on
it on
like
post.
different groups. Yeah. I'm on different groups on Facebook, whether it be ones to do, with emotional things or fun things. And someone's put, I think I sent you this example as we were thinking about this episode. And I won't say it because it has swear words in it, but this long post about something really traumatic that happened to this person. And every sentence, or certainly
Oh
multiple
yeah.
times in a paragraph, was 5 letters, 6 letters, 3 letters, 4 letters. Not ones that you'd ordinarily know, but she just randomly decided that those 5 words were going to be abbreviated because although she had 10,000 words in this post, she had to save time by making loads of acronyms up, and all the comments were, "What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?" Rather than being sympathetic to your trauma,
What
and
was
I'm
that
like,
game
"Stop doing
show?
this."
Where you have the letters on the board, and I'll have an E, please, Bob, and then the E gets turned around, and then you try and work
Bob,
out what the word is. What was that game show? Oh, I can't remember.
I
I
literally
want to say
saw a meme
Jeopardy, but
about
that's not right.
it. No, it's what they're on the board, and letters come up, and then they say, I want to,
It's
I've
like
got the
famous
word
phrases.
or the sentence. Yeah, like don't rock the boat or something like that. Yeah, I actually saw a meme about that the other day, and someone kept trying to solve that, and they were solving it with words that didn't have those letters. So it was just ridiculous. But I can't remember what that's called now. Any listeners out there, when you watch this, let us know what that game show is called.
Yeah, it's like the Hangman. It's like Hangman, isn't it? But like with
Yes, it
contestants.
is. It is literally Hangman, isn't it? Well, not literally, but yeah. But I struggle with it every day, and I found myself a little bit of a deviation of topic here, but I feel the same a bit about hashtags. I don't know if I'm the only one in the world that reads hashtags wrong, unless they've
Oh
capitalised
yeah,
the first letter, and I'm like,
URL.
what does that mean? Oh, yeah. So I just don't read that way. Is there something wrong with my brain? But I think that we've become, acronyms had a purpose before, and now it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I guess what that is and I've heard people speak in acronyms as well. It's not just like quick typing anymore. It's like
Yeah.
IRL, oh, let's do it IRL. And I've actually heard somebody say that in
What's that
conversation
mean?
in real
What does
life.
IRL?
So it's not like, like maybe back in the day with, when I don't know, the Guardian are writing about the BBC, they want to save words on the page, so they don't write British Broadcasting,
Makes sense.
whatever. But now we've got this kind of shorthand in how we're actually speaking to each other. And I think that's kind of interesting, because what that is the internet's influence, or the online world's influence on IRL.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone ever speaks to me in acronyms, I think that the friendship's over. I think that, this just can't work. We're not on the same page.
Is that over?
Yeah.
Episode 1, it's all done. Let's leave it
LOL. Actually saying LOL is just insane to me. Just actually laugh out loud. Yeah, just laugh out loud. Don't say LOL. Laugh.
Well, people don't even say LOL. People go, oh, lol.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
To me, laugh out loud.
Yeah.
It's like the evolution of language. It's kind of fascinating.
Well, spelling and grammar's getting worse because of it. Like, categorically, I sometimes read people's posts, and I'm not going to become someone who comments on that, right? I've had to stop myself. This is just an OCD thing of me. This is not me being horrible, but I've stopped myself from doing it because I don't want to become one of those people that correct people. Unless they're horrible people, and I say, well, by the way, you spelt that word wrong, which really annoys me, which is lose and loose. That's my biggest bugbear.
I like to correct people if they're being racist or whatever. But like,
it's like, well, by the way,
how you like.
At least spell it. Yeah,
I'll just quietly judge you and maybe not call you. Quiet judgment's my favourite.
Well, I remember going on another segue here. I remember being a child, and I think my brother, had written out the word BASTARD, right? And he'd spelt it he spelt it wrong. And my dad, I think it was my dad or my mum, I can't remember, had said, if you're going to call her a name, at least spell it right. Yeah, at least spell it right. So, yeah, but these acronyms cannot be helping that, because people are not spelling them out. And I wonder as well I'd be interested to know how acronyms play a part in schools now.
Whether they allow it or not.
Because I guarantee you people would do that in some form in school, and then the teachers would be like, no, you can't do that. I don't know. I just don't think
the word nice, because it's not descriptive or anything.
What does that? Yeah, isn't that an acronym? I'm pretty sure that's an. Yeah, someone created an acronym of that, and we need to research.
WTF?
Yes. No, but and okay. Didn't you say something about okay?
Yeah. I think it means all correct or something.
But it's a K though. But I think you're right, because when I looked that up, that was right. So they did that to help the situation, but it's not actually correct.
Yeah.
Because it's K, not. Or Oki.
Oki. Yeah. So I mean, language changes. I mean, at the turn of the 20th century, if a woman was called pathetic, she was happy, and if you called a guy gay, he was just happy. He was just joyful.
Joyful, yeah. And another thing that I've noticed, which does relate to acronyms, is certain words being used. Which one of my I have many bugbears. It's just who I am, I guess. Sure, the word sure couldn't be less exciting or energetic or positive, or for example, if you send someone a long message, happy birthday, oh, it was so wonderful to see you, do you want to meet up next week and do sure.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, it's kind of a bit
sure thing's better than sure, but sure, yeah, rather than
sure thing.
Yeah, sure thing's definitely better. That's
Yeah.
more jolly and, a little bit
Bit
more jolly. It's
flirty
like when
even.
you're really excited. Yeah, like when
Yeah.
you're really excited to tell someone something and then you tell them it and they use an acronym or something that's not very excitable, it's deflating.
I
And I
mean,
feel
the
like
elephant in the
language
room here,
deflates.
of course, is by using acronyms, certainly the ones like in your example of like completely making it up, you are leaving yourself open to being completely misunderstood.
Yep,
Use
that's
the prop. I sound like an old school teacher, but use the proper words. Use a variety of vocabulary, and your communication will be more meaningful. Surely.
and significantly improved.
I do. I sound old. Someone take me away.
Yeah, we're not old, by the way, listeners.
No.
Um, but yeah, I just
21 plus
if
VAT,
my
me.
what's that?
21 plus VAT.
Yes, yes, yeah, a lot of that.
Variable figure.
Yeah, but I think the communication's key here to this conversation. If we're going to get a little bit more serious with it, and I think that the way that people texting is a big part of this, isn't it? Whereas we didn't
Yeah.
used to text. We grew up in the 90s, right? And we didn't used to text. So acronyms play a part in that because it's quicker to do it, right? Like
Yeah.
especially when you had the first phones, how long? Like the digits on one of my phones was like a dot. So it was like
Yeah.
it wasn't like now touch screen, and
Tiny
so
little
I kind of
screen.
understand that. Yeah, and it costs £10 to send a text, right? And then you've got to go to the shop and top up your credit,
And
which
there
you've
was a
already spent
limit
a
as
hundred.
well, wasn't there? A text message would be like, you'd have
Was there?
like an old school tweet. You'd have so many
Yeah.
characters before it would
Yeah,
say unable to
tweets
send.
still have. I've never been into Twitter or X, whatever you call it
No.
now. I've never been into that because I never understood that limit. Because I could never say maybe I need to learn how to be more succinct. But I never got into that. I jumped. Was Twitter before? Twitter was after Facebook, so it was Facebook then Twitter, right?
Yeah, more. Well, I mean, X is. You see, the Guardian
Yeah.
have left X. It's like really interesting.
I'm never going to understand the whole X thing, like why you
I'm never
change
going to
something like.
understand the whole Elon Musk thing. To be honest,
No, no, that's a fair point.
I don't get the brain of. Don't get the mindset in any
Yeah, I've
way.
never been on. I've got a Twitter account, but I think I've probably put two or three things. And trying to link your Twitter account to your Insta to your Facebook, it just doesn't work for me anyway. But
No,
maybe we should have. We haven't got a Twitter account for Lashback.
no, no,
Maybe we should.
no.
Weird. But Twitter is actually talking about that on the topic of today's episode. Is Twitter would be perfect for this episode. We should do a tweet as a follow up to this episode of
All in
just
acronyms.
all in acronyms. I'm taking that as a task.
LB, BT, BF. Flashback, bringing the back forward.
LOL.
Lol. I'm PW, and this is NA. I can imagine a future where this is a thing. I really can.
No, I'm seeing it happen already. This episode's going to go viral. And someone, like when they said, The Simpsons had that episode, it happened already. I even saw a meme last
Yeah.
night of someone who screenshotted a Nintendo Mike Tyson boxing game from the 90s.
Yeah.
And one of the contenders looked exactly like his contender last night. So
Wow.
they've already predicted it. This is what this episode is going to be. We are predicting that people are going to talk in acronyms, specifically just in acronyms going forward.
If there's something as well about, not, it's like code, like encryptions and stuff, and not wanting just anybody to know what you're talking about. Like, so, I don't know, your mum looks at your text messages. You're 14 years old and you've been texting your friend about the boy you like, and you don't want your mum to see it. So you create these little kind of. Me and my best mate when I was a teenager, we had we had our own language, complete code words. In fact, we used to say if there was a boy we liked that he had nice shoes, and I can't even remember how we came up with that code, right? There was some kind of thing where we'd laughed a lot about one guy and something about his shoes, and that became the code word. He's cute, like nice shoes. And then we realized that we could say that in different languages. So we started knowing it
Yeah,
in lots of different languages. And that
yeah. I
was a
think that
real
was a
way to
90s
to express something without just anybody
being cool.
understanding.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
when I was doing some research on this, I did see an acronym that was related to that and hiding from your parents. If you're on the phone as a teenager now, on the phone to your friend, and you're talking about things, you say to your friend POS, parent over shoulder.
I love that.
I know. There's many. We could do a whole series on this, quite literally. So you've got parents over shoulder. There's so many different things that relate to, music, that relate to school, pop culture, as I was saying, music, but ridiculous amounts of ones that I found just by like looking. And BAE, do you know what BAE means? BAE.
No.
So people use BAE, it actually stands for before anyone else. But people use it as BAE, my best friend or boyfriend or something, I
Yeah.
think. Which I
And
don't...
before anyone else. Oh, that's really
Before,
sweet.
yeah, so it
But
kind
it's
of
been
makes sense, I
diluted
guess.
by being an acronym.
Yes, completely. That's the point. It's
Yeah.
lost its meaning, hasn't it, really? Because I've never really been sure if BAE means best friend or boyfriend but I guess it's before anyone else, so it's your person, I guess.
Yeah. So,
But I have found myself saying FOMO, by the way. FOMO.
I
I've
say
said that
FOMO
before.
all the time.
No, I'm not sure I'm happy about that.
It seeps in, doesn't it? There's probably I'm
think you've
now gonna go through my life over the next week, noticing the
Yeah, I think we
acronyms I
should record
use.
that. We'll do a tweet on this, and
Yeah,
we'll
we
do a
will.
little follow-up information on what we think about this as we go through. So keep this in your mind, Phoebe.
Okay.
But
And indeed, if anyone is watching this first episode, as we are just setting this up, please do comment about what acronyms
yes,
you love and hate and why.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because we're going to get more interactive with our listeners. At some point, might even bring some listeners on, and we've got different topics. And just leaving, we've only got a few more minutes because we want to keep these succinct, but leaving you with this thought, which is a happy / gloomy thought, but I often think, like people that we've lost during our life, whether that be a parent, a grandparent, or a friend who, maybe sadly passed before the world of Facebook, social media, acronyms. So maybe in the 90s, like my father did, for example. I often think about, like quite often, weirdly, if they were to come back, like if they came back from the dead, right? And they suddenly had this whole new world. I mean, it would
They
be
wouldn't be able to
insane.
communicate.
No. Or,
Although
well,
you've just made me think of perhaps the first ever acronym there ever was. R.I.P.
R.I.P. That's
like the oldest acronym of all time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
likely
Well,
because, you'd have to pay an engraver to engrave the tombstone, and maybe you didn't have
That's
enough money. Maybe using an acronym was a show of not wealth.
That's
So
such a
there's a
good
class
point. Although but people are adding letters to that now. R.I.E.P. That's just cost me an extra $50.
Yeah, R.I.E.P. And peace is now often referred to as power, which is interesting. So the P
Yeah.
can mean other things. Again, here it is. The meaning of communication is lost when we expect people to read between the lines.
Yeah, but you're just you're ruining that communication because again, going back to something I mentioned earlier about this long post in this group that I'm in, and it was an emotional, something traumatic that had happened to somebody, and nobody even acknowledged that because we were deciphering, right? So the purpose of that was for this person to get support in this group because they didn't know who else to talk. They had to unleash their trauma, and they wanted feedback about this relationship and were they going mad or and that was completely lost because we were all just figuring it out. Yeah. So I think acronyms is we need to slow it down. We need to slow it down, people, and sometimes just spend a little bit more time saying what you want to say, especially when it's people you don't know, which is social media generally.
And also taking up the space you take up.
Yes, indeed.
Take the space. Use it all.
Yeah. Well, I think this is going to be an interesting episode to put out. And again, we would love to hear your comments. Start following us. We're across all different social media platforms. And we're going to be doing weekly episodes on different topics, which we will work out as we're going along. Feel free to give us any topic suggestions. And we hope you enjoyed our episode.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. See you next time.